Hello once again, my name is Negative Legend, and I'm here to answer the question, what happened to Beyblade? Beyblade, known in Japan as Explosive Shoot Beyblade, or Bakuten Shuto Beiburido, I probably totally messed up that pronunciation, is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Takao Aoki to promote the sales of spinning tops called Beyblades, originally serialized in Koro Koro comic from September 1999 to July 2004. The concept of Beyblades originates from Beigoma, which is a small but lightly pointed shaped toy of approximately 3 centimeters in diameter. It is spun by wrapping a thin 60-centimeter cord around it, then throwing it while releasing the cord to spin it onto a surface, such as matting spread across the top of a barrel. The thrower aims it at another Beigoma that is already spinning to knock it out of the playing area. The loser is the player whose top either stops spinning first or is knocked outside the area. An anime adaptation also titled Beyblade and spanning 51 episodes aired in Japan on TV Tokyo from January 8, 2001 to December 24, 2001. The second, Beyblade V-Force, ran for another 51 episodes from January 7, 2002 to December 30, 2002. Beyblade G-Revolution, the third and final adaptation, also spanned 52 episodes. The last 2 episodes were released together as a double-length special in Japan and aired from January 6, 2003 until its conclusion on December 29, 2003. Hasbro Studios and Nelvana Limited licensed the anime for an English-language release. Takara Tomy developed the Beyblade toy line. These 3 series of Beyblade anime were considered the first generation. Penguin007 on Reddit stated, "The first generation consists of 3 seasons and 1 film. In this generation, many systems were implemented, like Spin Gear System, which is the first one, Magna Core System, they put magnets in the Beyblade and the stadium to affect the pattern, Engine Gear System, you could charge up your Beyblades like one of those toy cars and it would speed up upon contact with something or just when you launch it. And finally, the Hard Metal System, where Beyblades from this system have their own metagame as they aren't compatible with the systems before they have to be used in separate tournaments. If they were used in the same tournaments as the systems before, the plastic Beyblades would be damaged. In Beyblade, there is such things as evolution. It's when a Beyblade is improved in some way. It sometimes happens while battling, sometimes they literally modify it, and sometimes it's off camera. Obviously done to sell products, but cool as heck concept. Before I continue this video, Penguin007 basically dropped an essay for me to use as a basis of research for this video, so special thanks to Penguin007, you're awesome. The entire list of all anime series produced for Beyblade in no particular order are Beyblade Burst God, Bakuten Shoot Beyblade, Metal Fight Beyblade, Beyblade V-Force, Beyblade Shogun Steel, Beyblade G-Revolution, Beyblade Burst, Bakuten Shoot Beyblade the Movie, Gekito, Takao vs. Daichi, and Metal Fight Beyblade vs. Shakunetsu no Shinryakusha Soul Blaze. My god, that's a mouthful. As you can probably tell, these are the original Japanese names for each series. The most recent one, as of the recording of this video, is Beyblade Burst. There was an unreleased series of Beyblade called Beyblade Insect that was supposedly part of the plastic generation. Its theme was all based around insects, based around the popular insect fighting that's popular among children in Japan, the very same insect fighting that sparked the inspiration behind Pokémon. There's only one image that's believed to be official work of Beyblade Insect. Nobody is certain why the series of Beyblade never took off and was instead replaced with Metal Fight Beyblade. The series of toys that were manufactured by Takara and Hasbro has a long history. It's said that the first 3 Beyblade, Ultimate Frostic Dranzer, Spin Dragoon, and Saizo, were loosely inspired by Pokémon, along with the main protagonist and antagonist, Takao and Tyson in English, and Kai, were based around red and blue. The original Beyblades were supplied with 3-bit chips along with the Beyblades that were supposed to represent the fighting spirit of the player. It was then the concept of the bit beasts were changed, but the Beyblades began to have clear types, such as attack, balance, stamina, and defense. This format was the basis of future incarnations of the Beyblade toy line. The Beyblade toy line went on to be one of the most popular toy lines in the world from 2000 to 2005, and as of 2005, over 100 million units had been sold worldwide. In August 2008, Takara Tomy released a new generation of Beyblade with a metal outer layer, the first incarnation of the toy in the 3.5 years. For the basic system, Through the heavy/hard metal system, Beyblades were categorized as attack, defense, combination, or endurance types. But when the hybrid wheel system was introduced, the combination and endurance types were renamed as balance and stamina types, respectively. The main target demographic for the toys is children, especially boys, though there have been manga produced such as Beyblade Battle Saint Lolita is one of the rare examples of the franchise aimed specifically at girls. Two related manga, Explosive Hero Blader DJ and Bakuten Denju Blader DJ, were also released to teach about Beyblading techniques. Now there are three major manufacturers of Beyblade: Tomy, Sonokong, and Hasbro, each having variances of how the toys are produced. And there's this super long list of differences from the Beyblade Wikia where I got most of this information, which is also linked in the description, so I'm just going to tell you a few of the differences. Sonokong Beyblades usually have heavier fusion wheels. Hasbro uses stronger plastic to make the face bolts, energy rings, spin tracks, and performance tips. Hasbro made their version of the string launcher less prone to breakage. Hasbro uses big walls and penalty pockets for their stadiums, while Tomy and Sonokong have stadiums with gaps in them for stadium outs. Hasbro has weaker adhesive for the Beyblade stickers. Hasbro has changed the names of some Beyblades, such as Beefowl and Cancer. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Initially, some Beyblades released during V-Force had no MG core, but a weighted non-magnetic core. Hasbro replaced many of these with Magna cores. There are no longer Magna cores in Hasbro V2 Beyblades, BBA Championship Series. In the same way, Hasbro added the engine gear to several Beyblades that originally did not have an engine gear: Metal, Driger, Gigars, etc. Beyblades have a distinct set of rules for the game. Honestly, when I watched the show, I thought there would be no tournaments held for this kind of thing because that'd be ridiculous. But boy, was I wrong, though. The World Beyblade Organization, or WBO, holds tournaments for this kind of thing. They have an official YouTube channel where they show people of all ages fighting each other, and it's one of the most wholesome things I've ever seen, and there's a link to it in the description below. On the Beyblade Reddit, NeoNectarB states, "Personal experience with Beyblade? It's a lot more than just random spinning tops. Beyblades have always been customizable, and I feel like that's one of the key aspects of its longevity. Mixing, matching, obtaining new parts to play around with, watching them hit each other, etc. I was getting kind of sick with just playing on my PS4 all the time, and I didn't realize Beyblade was still such a big thing in 2017. Burst was incredibly high in popularity in Japan and the US, slowly making its way more into the UK, where I'm from. I've been having so much fun with the Burst keys. I've been a fan of Beyblade since I was young. I regret not collecting the plastic Gen Beyblades, however. I distinctly remember the Beyblade G Revolution, IIRC, it was an RPG format, game as part of my childhood. I was also always into card games as well. Pretty hard to play them since I was only a child. So since I couldn't play them, Beyblades was always a hobby that I could play by myself and entertain myself with. Now, you may have noticed that I haven't actually talked about how Beyblade ended. Well, that's because it's still going. I know there's this stigma with these "what happened to" videos that it only covers games or shows that are dead, but that's not the case. This was a great opportunity to show you guys that these videos can be about any topic, though it was started off with the idea of figuring out what happened to our beloved franchises. Now, this video is already going to be long, and there's a lot of information about Beyblade that I didn't get into. There is a slew of video games that were released that I didn't cover, but that's because I wanted to take the time to read to all of you Penguin's 007's post, because I'm just so appreciative of the effort went into this, and it felt wrong not to give it the spotlight it deserves. I'm going to warn you now, I'm not familiar with how to pronounce all of the Beyblade names, so I'm bound to mess up, and I apologize in advance. Throughout this series, the most evolved Beyblade is Dragoon. The list goes: Dragoon Grip, Attacker, this hasn't debuted in the anime and is quite rare and valuable now, Dragoon S, Dragoon F, Dragoon V, Dragoon V2, Dragoon G, Dragoon GT, Dragoon MS, Dragoon MSUV, Dragoon MF. This series was written by Takao Aoki. It's about a group of friends/rivals occasionally saving the world and battling each other. Some Beyblade names from this generation: Dragoon, Draciel, Dranzer, Driger, Woolborg, Tripio. I don't think many people know this, but I have recently learned that after there was supposed to be something called Beyblade Insect that goes back to the plastic roots, but it was cancelled and Beyblade was on a hiatus for a while. You do your research on the dates, please. I am not going to bother. The dude that made everything so far has no finger in what is about to come. And then comes the second generation of Beyblade. The generations are completely separate from each other. They are in different universes. It consists of 4 seasons and 1 film. The Metal Saga, this was much more systemized and hasn't really changed much until the last season. The plot, as I remember, is in ancient times, a meteor falls to Earth and people make a Diablo Nemesis XD out of it. This Beyblade sleeps until it decides to take over the world, and a second meteor falls, and people make 3 bays out of it this time. First is El Drago. They use it in wars and stuff. It's the main villain of the show for a while, and because that Beyblade starts messing stuff up, they make Pegasus to protect themselves. But Pegasus is too strong, so they seal it somewhere and make a weaker one. That weak one is the one the protagonist has until he fights El Drago and beats it. When he does beat it, the Beyblade evaporates, and after some searching, he finds the stronger Pegasus, and the final meteor falls, this time in modern times. This is when the Nemesis is supposed to wake up. This meteor's purpose is to find the strongest blader in the world and give him a buff to fight Nemesis, but a muffin fluffer sees the meteor and launches his Beyblade toward the sky to shatter it to 10 pieces. Those 10 pieces instead go to the top 10 strongest Beyblades in the world by their will. Those are Cosmic Pegasus FD, Fang Leon 130 W2D, W squared, whatever, Phantom Orion BD, Mercury Anubis 85XF, Scythe Kronos 2T125 EDS, Variaries DD, Jade Jupiter S1300RB, Death Quetzalcoatl 125 RDF, Diablo Nemesis XD, and of course El Drago, whose partner Ryuga, who sacrifices himself and dies to transfer his power into Flash Sagittario 230WD. The names are the names of the Beyblades after they got the power. Most of their names were different because they evolved when they got their power. So, some didn't, though. It was off camera. Anyway, they fight the last boss and all the other 9 Bladers give their power to Pegasus. After that's not enough, all the Beybladers in the world, who apparently all have a little bit of the power of the meteor for some reason, give their power to Pegasus and everyone lives happily ever after. I'm just kidding, there is a 4th season, which is the same universe, but with a time skip in which you see these guys as children battling it out. The biggest change of this generation comes in the final season. Go look up Zero G Beyblade Battle or Shogun Steel Beyblade Battle on YouTube. You should see the stupid stadium that moves around and stuff. They also changed the bays a little bit. Now, you can combine 2 of the metal parts of the Beyblade. Also, they are now much higher and have a secondary plastic ring around the tip to prevent stadium outs in the new stupid arena, which doesn't at all work. You can customize these Beyblades and use them in regular Metal Saga tournaments, though. The Beyblades of this generation were good because you could determine both the height and the tip of your Beyblade. You weren't stuck with those strong tips that were too high to be useful or vice versa. When it comes to the systems they implemented, I really only see 3 systems. The first system, where the Beyblades consist of top to bottom, faced bolt in tournaments. If you are using an attack or defense bay, you gotta use a metal version for these, as they are superior. The face bolt is a screw that holds the Beyblade together. Energy ring, purely cosmetic except for El Drago's one. Fusion ring, the part that makes contact with the other Beyblades. Spin track determines the height of the Beyblade, and the seemingly random numbers you see in the names of the Beyblade comes from this. Performance tip, this touches the stadium floor and determines the pattern your Beyblade will take in the stadium, for how long is it going to spin, and how easy it is to knock it out of the stadium. Other parts also factor in, of course, but it's mostly this part. After this system comes 4D, where they implemented a few mode changes here and there, and combined the performance tip and the spin track together. Awful all around. And the final one is Zero G. I already talked about it. Face bolts are now called stone faces. They also have metal versions. So energy rings are crystal wheels, which no one cares about, because combining 2 fusion wheels, which are now warrior wheels, is superior. And after that came the brand new 3rd generation of Beyblade, Beyblade Burst. We were greeted with these. They did something where when a Beyblade gets enough damage, some parts fly away from each other, which is a burst. In the 5-point format, a burst is worth 2 points, a knockout is worth 1, and a sleep out is worth 1. Look up a Valkyrie. They turned into some monsters now. Also look up some Beyblade battles to watch from all the systems I mentioned. The systems in this generation are simple. Single layer system, dual layer system, god layer system. They put a ring around the ring and made the layer gimmicky. This generation has seen 2 seasons so far. Traditionally, there should have been a film coming out now, but they said F you to the tradition, and we have the 3rd season confirmed. Beyblade Burst Super Zetsu, which is the 10th season overall. Maybe the reason they didn't do the film is because Mary Parent is supposed to be making a Beyblade live-action movie? It will come in 2021 at the earliest. Beyblades have 4 types. This is the case in all generations. Attack, defense, stamina, and balance. Attack Beyblades are the most energetic ones, and they move around the stadium. They are also the hardest ones to use because there are different types of launches you can do with them. You can also look up other Beyblade lessons. Defense ones are the ones that are strong against attack types. They are heavy and hard to knock out of the stadium. Stamina types are the ones that are stronger than the defense types. They are lightweight and easy to knock out of the stadium, but defense types generally don't have the power to do that. Stamina bays spin for a long time. Balance types are the ones that combine 2 or more types specialties. I hate to end on this note, but I haven't talked about the awful spin-offs. Bay Wheels, Bay Warriors, Bay Raiders, Bay Warriors, Cyborg, which are the most messed up things to come out under the name of Beyblade. The mangaka of the first generation, I think he is the one doing it, is currently drawing a new manga with the OG characters, but with the burst spin on it. Every season has approximately 51 episodes. I probably haven't mentioned everything and am probably wrong about some things here and there. Please add on to this and correct me where I'm wrong. Okay, dude, I pretty much made the video for you. Ask me anything you want to ask. The answer to what happened to Beyblade is that it's still going strong. That is everything I have to talk about. Special shout out to my patrons right here. If you want to vote on what the next video is for the What Happened To series, then consider becoming a patron. They get to vote on what the next one will be. The next one will be Huntic, Secrets, and Seeker, so look forward to that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Links to everything you saw are in the description below. Stay beautiful and keep playing.
Hey, cheer up. I think some groovy tunes may be just what the doctor ordered to snap us out of this nasty funk.